If you live in Kent and have watched any of my most recent reports, then this should probably worry you. Although I fear this is being done with a purpose to try and indirectly threaten members of the public with potential assault in order to try and keep them in line. Kent police are now arming their volunteer plod with tasers. Chief Constable Alan Pewsley said he took the decision to give special constables the same operational tools to protect themselves and the public, although I fear he really means to protect themselves from the public and their hurty words or belligerents. Now, interestingly, those in Kent who carry tasers seem to have to apply to carry one. In other words, it's not like the force are saying they have to carry one, but both regular and now unpaid police in Kent can simply request to carry one. Then they go on their good-for-nothing training and taught how to taser people in the back and threaten them with the red dot for disagreeing with them. Currently, there seems to be 1,016 taser-trained police in the Kent County, meaning that 1 in 4 plod carry the weapon. One of the first volunteer police to be trained to use the weapon is Special Inspector Scott Dawson, who, as mentioned, would have had to request to carry it, which in my opinion is a red flag right there. In fact, I bet none of them even undergo a psychological evaluation before being permitted to carry one. They would if it was a gun, and, well, it should if it was a gun, and a taser is still classed as a firearm, so should have the same barriers to overcome. Dawson said in an interview that carrying a taser has provided him with further reassurance, especially when attending incidents involving children who simply won't do as they're told, or if it's a slow night, then the threat of a taser will escalate the situation to liven things up a bit. Joke, before Kent Police or Special Inspector Scott Dawson have a bitch fit, it was a joke. He actually said that carrying a taser had provided him with further reassurance, especially when attending incidents involving knives and other weapons. I've been a special for the last 7 years, he said. We're out there with our regular counterparts facing the same sort of threat, risk and harm as them. Taser is a form of equipment that can further keep ourselves and members of the public safe. Current Chief Constable Alan Pewsley said that special constables in Kent do everything that my frontline regular officers do. And what's that exactly? Rape, kill and pillage. So they should be afforded the same operational tools to protect themselves and in turn the public. It's the same training, it's the same rigour, it's the same scrutiny. Yeah, and clearly from what we see far too often, the training simply isn't good enough. The rigour of getting one is pathetic, and literally any cop can get their hands on one. And the scrutiny, don't get me started on that. How often do we hear of police actually being charged with unlawfully discharging their weapon against someone who's not an actual threat or posing an immediate threat to life? Interestingly, Pewsley added, I think if you go back to the basics of what the public want from the police, they want us to keep them safe. They want us to be on the streets, they want us to be visible, and they want us to deal with very violent offenders. So basically he is blaming the public for the need for tasers, and now he's saying that the public want trigger-happy plod to use the tasers, claiming violent offenders. But we see countless discharges against non-violent people who are simply suspected of a crime, not even proven to be an offender at that point. Dr. David Lydon, a senior lecturer in policing at Canterbury Christchurch University, said that the rollout of tasers is a natural evolution, adding you'd expect that they'd have the tools to do the job as long as they've been given the training, and of course it is the same training as regular officers get. But yet also says that taser use in this country is an under-researched area with a lot of work to be done. So if it's under-researched, then surely, as a priority, it needs to be researched before giving every narcissistic plod the ability to use them on the public. This, people, is another step towards a militant police force without the military training, meaning that more and more people will start being tasered, and before long, when that's then classed as being normal and just an unfortunate part of policing, they will then start issuing all police with sidearms. And again, after a few years of outrage over more fatalities, people will simply become accustomed to it as part of the police's job and an unfortunate side effect of crime.